Have you ever followed someone online who shared their battle with illness and felt your heart ache for them? You left comments, maybe even donated. You rooted for their recovery because their pain felt real. But what if it wasn't? What if that story of suffering, the hospital photos, the test results, the tears, wasn't a cry for help, but a performance? In this video, we're exploring Munchausen by internet, a disturbing phenomenon where people fake illnesses online for sympathy, attention, or profit. We'll look at the psychology behind it, the real cases that shocked the world, and how the internet itself helps turn deception into performance. The term Munchausen syndrome comes from a rare psychiatric disorder where someone fabricates or even induces illness in themselves to gain attention, care, or sympathy. It's named after an 18th century German nobleman, Baron von Munchausen, famous for telling exaggerated tales about his adventures. In medicine, the name became shorthand for people who invent suffering to feel seen. But today, the hospital bed has been replaced by a smartphone screen. The IV drip is now a camera filter, and the audience isn't a handful of doctors. It's millions of strangers online. In the age of social media, Munchausen has found a new stage and a massive, willing audience. Now it's called Munchausen by internet. Here, illness can be carefully constructed with filters and captions. A borrowed hospital photo becomes proof. Stock images turn into evidence. And sympathy, once intimate and rare, becomes a public resource to be mined. Entire communities form around these stories. Followers send messages of hope, donations, handmade gifts. They defend the creator fiercely, sometimes even attacking anyone who questions the truth. But behind some of these accounts lies a different kind of sickness, one rooted not in the body, but in the desperate need for validation, attention, and belonging. So why do people do this? Why would someone pretend to be dying, post after post, day after day, knowing that the truth could destroy them? Psychiatrists say it rarely begins with malice. It often starts with loneliness, a quiet need to be cared for, to matter in a world where visibility equals value. For some, illness becomes a language of connection. Pain becomes a way to be loved. And once that validation starts pouring in, the messages, the sympathy, the unwavering attention, it can be intoxicating. Soon, the lie becomes a lifeline. This is where Munchausen by internet turns from performance into addiction. What does Munchausen by internet actually look like in the real world? How does someone convince thousands of people, sometimes even major companies, that their illness is real? The answers lie in a handful of shocking cases that pushed this phenomenon into the spotlight, revealing just how easily truth can be manufactured online. Let's look at a few real stories where Munchausen by internet left digital trails of deception and disbelief. In 2013, a young Australian wellness blogger named Belle Gibson became the face of what many saw as a modern miracle. She claimed she'd been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer at just 20 years old and given only months to live. According to her story, she had turned away from conventional medicine, rejecting chemotherapy and radiation. Instead, she said she had healed herself through clean eating, juicing, and a holistic lifestyle. The internet was captivated. Her Instagram feed was warm, minimalist, and filled with smiling selfies, bowls of fruit, and captions about hope and healing. She wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. People wanted to believe her, and so they did, by the tens of thousands. Her following exploded overnight. She launched an app called The Whole Pantry, filled with plant-based recipes and inspirational quotes. Apple featured it on their App Store. Penguin Books published her cookbook. She was invited to speak at wellness events, to collaborate with major brands, to share her journey with millions. But beneath the pastel-toned photos and affirmations, nothing was real. Journalists from The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald began asking questions. simple ones at first. Which doctors treated her? Where were her medical records? Why did her timeline keep changing? When reporters pressed for proof, Gibson's story began to unravel. There were no doctors, no medical records, no cancer diagnosis at all. And the charities she'd promised to donate her profits to, they had never received a single dollar. It was one of the most stunning exposures in wellness culture, a public unmasking that revealed how far belief can go when it's dressed in sincerity and aesthetics. In 2017, an Australian court found Belle Gibson guilty of deceptive and misleading conduct. She was fined over $400,000, not for faking cancer itself, but for the fraud tied to her false charity claims. The damage, though, went far beyond money. Her followers felt betrayed, not just because they'd been lied to, but because many were genuinely sick and had looked to her for guidance and hope. For some, she was proof that positivity could cure anything. When the truth came out, that hope collapsed. Belle Gibson's story became a cautionary tale about the intersection of wellness, social media, and deception. A lie so compelling that it was monetized, celebrated, and shared around the world, until reality finally caught up.
I did, and I was feeling well.
Yes, but even then you misrepresented what you thought was your truth, which was all a big lie anyway.
I'm really sorry. And it hurts me, and I beat myself up every day for how I have hurt those who mean a lot to me.
In the early 2000s, social media was filled with online support communities. Spaces on Tumblr and Instagram where people with chronic or terminal illnesses shared their stories and found connection. One of the most beloved figures in that world was a young woman known only as Katie. Katie documented her supposed battle with leukemia and a rare bone disease. Her posts were raw and emotional, long diary-style entries about chemotherapy, pain, and faith. She often uploaded photos of herself in hospital gowns, hooked up to IVs, surrounded by medical equipment. She had a devoted following, thousands of people who sent her letters, digital fan art, and emotional tributes. Her words inspired countless others living with illness. She called her followers warriors. She said, "We fight together, even if I don't make it." And then, one day, she didn't. In 2013, news spread across Tumblr that Katie had died. Her sister posted a goodbye message, thanking her followers for their love and support. The community was devastated. People held online vigils. Others posted tributes and shared photos of candles with the hashtag #RestInPeaceKatie. But a few users started noticing strange details. Some of Katie's hospital photos were traced back to Google Images, specifically from medical blogs and stock photo sites. The hospital wristbands she posted had dates that didn't line up, and her sister's writing style seemed eerily similar to Katie's own. Within weeks, the truth unraveled. Katie never existed. Her name, photos, and entire identity had been fabricated by another Tumblr user, a young woman who had spent years pretending to be her. She had created multiple fake accounts, friends, family, even doctors, to make the illusion more believable. When confronted, she admitted she had never had cancer. She wasn't dying. She was lonely. For years, she had built her identity around illness, using sympathy and attention as a form of validation. And when the pressure of maintaining the lie became too much, she killed off her online persona, a digital death meant to secure the ultimate form of empathy: grief. Katie's story was one of the first to be labeled as a case of Munchausen by internet. It raised difficult questions about the culture of online empathy, how digital communities built on care and connection can also become stages for performance, and how, behind every tragic story, there might be someone playing a role they can't step out of. In a world where illness can be broadcast with a hashtag and tragedy can trend overnight, the line between truth and performance is thinner than ever. The stories of Belle Gibson and Katie remind us how easily narratives can be constructed and how quickly they can spread when they align with what we want to believe. Munchausen by Internet shows us what happens when platforms built for connection start rewarding spectacle instead of sincerity. As audiences, we have to learn to hold space for compassion and skepticism at the same time. Because every miracle recovery and every final goodbye we encounter online deserves empathy, but also a moment of pause. The sicker someone appears, the more engagement they often get. For every real patient seeking help, there's someone exploiting empathy for attention, gifts, or money. The fallout is devastating. For real patients, it erodes trust. Every genuine story is questioned. For audiences, it leads to compassion fatigue and the feeling that everyone online is lying. And for those who fake illness, the cycle rarely ends. The attention fades, and they often return under new names. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Until next time, stay safe and stay skeptical.